Here's what we got: 1-6, 5-1, and then you have 4 games left. Slow start, hot finish. Let's look at the whole 13-game sample size. What's real and what isn't. Also, what's really bad and needs to be addressed, and what isn't as bad, and I don't want to say you don't have to address, but it isn't as big as of a concern as you may think it is. Mm-hmm. And if you want, I'll start with what problem I think it really isn't a problem at all, and that's Jared Goff. And we always talk about the next guy, the franchise quarterback. This is what a bridge quarterback is. He allows you to build your football team and not have to worry about drafting or paying a quarterback, because he is effectively on a really, really fair salary at the moment, $30 million a year, and he's playing some really damn good football. So that would be one, quote, problem that I don't really see as a problem anymore, especially with his turnaround and the lack of turnovers.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought up Goff. I was going to bring up the offense. More importantly, that offensive line. That's real. I mean, they were a strong suit last year. So this offense has shown us all year they can score on anybody, except for the Patriots, of course, because he scored 0. But other than that, this offense has been the more consistent part of this football team. So the offense, to me, is absolutely real. They're going to keep up what they've been doing. Ben Johnson is real, if you want to go more specific, because he's been a blessing in disguise. I mean, last year they found him. Now this year, making it as a first-time offensive coordinator, the success he's found, putting this offense, in great positions. Jared Goff specifically, Amon-Ra St. Brown, what he's done for his career. Yeah, I would say Ben Johnson and his offense. That's definitely the first thing you'd mention when you say what's real. No question.
For me, what's real, and I am really struggling with this, but who Dan Campbell has been for 6 weeks, I do think is real. That doesn't happen by accident. If they were winning games, Jeff, that you're like, oh, got away with that one, or, oh man, we played like shit, but I don't know how we won that game, I would be questioning it. But these last 6 games, I do think it's real. Just like I think 1-6, that was real. That wasn't unlucky or we made a mistake. No, those were like really bad coaching decisions.
Yeah.
And really poor game planning and really poor execution. And it's been quite the opposite the last 6 weeks. But I think this version of the Lions under Dan Campbell is real. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is they're out on the field, Jeff. You don't need me to tell you this, guys. You watch your football team. You tell me a 6-week stretch. Go back to the 90s if you want, where you played minute 1, minute 60 football. I haven't seen it in my lifetime. Even with the Caldwell Lions, even with the, what the hell's his name? Schwartz Lions.
Yep.
It didn't matter who it was. Minute 1 to 60. Clean, effective, nonstop, foot on the pedal football. I think that's real. I do. And as irritated as I am and was with 1-6 to start, and as real as that was, so is this. I don't think it's some facade or something fake. I do think this is not only repeatable, I think it's sustainable. Now, you want to add more talent? Sure. You want to address the secondary? Sure. You want to add a linebacker? Sure. I get it. You do need pieces on this team, but the coaching element, I think these last 6 games, Jeff, it's real.
Yeah.
I don't think he's by accident or he's stumbling into success right now. And you know me, I've been very critical of Dan. But I'm sorry. The football I've watched the last 6 weeks, yes, is what I expected before the season, but that's irrelevant right now. What's relevant is they have sustainable success with the way they're playing. I think it's real. I do.
I do too, and they've shown you the blueprint on how they're going to win and how they're going to contend for the division next year. It starts defensively, and that's something I want to bring up too. I really do believe what they're doing defensively over the last 6 games is real, because we trust me, gave a fair amount of criticism early to this defense and to Aaron Glenn. But understanding now, looking back, how much these players have grown. Yes, they're getting healthier. Yes, Aaron Glenn had these guys understanding the scheme. The communication seems to be where you want it to be. I know the secondary's still struggling, but overall, the pass rush, you see the emergence of James Houston, Josh Pascal, John Kaminsky, guys that were cut from their previous teams. Bugs. These guys are now making impactful plays for the Lions. And imagine when you do add a possible Jalen Carter, or you add a Will Anderson, or you continue to add, better secondary players, a better linebacker, whatever it may be. This defense is only going to improve. So the defense, to me, over the last 6 weeks is real. They've shown you a blueprint to how this defense can be even better and be a really, really good defense the more talent they add. So I do believe what Aaron Glenn's doing, what the adjustments he's made. I know Dan Campbell made a tough decision. You let go of Aubrey Pleasant. I do believe what they're doing defensively, although there's going to be slip-ups like you had against Justin Jefferson, you could still win games like that. So to me, this defense is real. They got to add more talent, which they have plenty of assets to do this offseason to go out and get talent. So to me, this defense deserves a lot of credit, Adam. I do believe what they're doing lately, getting turnovers, the young players making plays, Brad Holmes' draft picks, he's going to continue to find good players, great players. I do believe this defense and what they've been doing is real. And Aaron Glenn deserves a ton of credit for that.
He does, absolutely. And I think the growth, the maturity, the ability to just recognize, hey, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I fucked up, and I have to stop. Because if I keep making the same mistakes over and over, I'm not going to be in a job. And most coaches are too stubborn to ever realize that. And that's why you see so many of them get fired. Urban Meyer, Nathaniel Hackett right now, you see he's going to get fired.
As he should.
You can't be stubborn as a head coach in the NFL. You have to be willing to adapt, and you have to be willing to step back sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't just have to be all about you. And I know head coach, it's an ego-driven position, 1 of 32, you're the lead guy, you get all the credit, you get all the blame. I get it. But I think what Dan's done, I think that's real. I think the turnaround is real. I don't think it's fake. Because before the season, what did we talk about? This offense being exceptional, being a top 10 offense in the NFL. Your defense, if it could be top 24, top 25, you would find success this year, 7, 8, 9 potentially wins.
Right.
That was the expectation going into the year. And my goodness, how nice and how all the flowers that were being given out in the offseason, I was at the forefront of it with you. But you don't show your ass at 1 and 6. But I will say, same old Lions don't recover this way. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
A same old coach, a Caldwell, a Schwartz, a Patricia, they don't recover. And it's not the fact that they're just winning the games now. It's how they're winning them. Context matters. And I know I said, 2-3 times on the show now. Minute 1, minute 60, Jeff, they're giving you hell. They're not stumbling into a win. They're not, we played really bad for 3.5 quarters, but the team across the field just played worse. And we got lucky and won the game. Or, we got off to a great start, didn't play for 3.5 quarters after that, and then barely got out with a 1 3-point win. Or they missed a field goal to win it, and we ended up winning. Well, whatever it may be. You're not winning games like that. You're winning games because you are the better team from start to finish. And that's why I think it's real. That's why I think it's sustainable. It's why I have no choice. I don't have a choice but to say this, because it's the truth. I'd be a liar. You guys watch the same football I watch. It's your team. You know very well this is not the norm. What's being done isn't normal. Because you don't associate Lions football with discipline. You don't associate Lions football with consistency, start to finish. Lions football for the last 15 years has been fourth quarter comebacks, blowing fourth quarter leads. That's it. That's been the Lions for 15, 20 years.
That's same old Lions.
15, 20 years now it's been win fourth quarter games, last second, blow fourth quarter leads. Blow double-digit leads. Just like you did against Miami. They spotted you 14, lost that game. You were up 10 against Minnesota early on in the year in the fourth quarter, lost that game. You had some moments where it really looked like same old shit.
Yeah.
And now these last 6 games, sorry, they've They've really turned it around.
Yeah, they've shown growth, and that's all you wanted to see. Now, the 1-6 start isn't ideal, but the fact that they've recovered from that, you've seen improvements from all three phases, offense, defense, special teams. That's been the biggest thing. And I want to bring up something that, because you talk about what's real and what's fake. And this isn't, I hate the word fake, but I want to bring up a player that I do believe isn't playing up to his potential. And I guess if you want to label that as fake, I do believe DeAndre Swift deserves to be mentioned here, because Swift has gone from the beginning of the season, Sam Flannel in the booth, calling him out, saying he'll lead the NFC in rushing, which, say what you want about that take. But DeAndre Swift, a lot of people were high on him to come into the season. He had a monster game to start the season, and as it trended, got hurt. And he's never really looked the same. I know he had a good game last week, not this previous week, but the week before that. And he's a threat as a wide receiver. But DeAndre Swift's future to me is still in question. I know he has next year, but you're going to have to find a run game somehow, some way. I mean, whether that's through the draft, free agency. I love Jamal Williams, but he's not your lead back. So to me, as much as I love what this offensive line's doing, they've been producing no matter who's running in the backfield. I think DeAndre Swift, as everyone expected him to be your 1A back, and him kind of trending in the wrong direction, now you have a three-headed monster, which is efficient, which can work. I just think with DeAndre, you've seen a lot more fake than real out of DeAndre. And it's disappointing because you know how talented he really is and how much he means to this offense. Because if he plays like he did early in the season, this offense becomes that much more dangerous. So it's
100%.
unfortunate.